Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive with myself, Erin Chandler. Welcome. I'm glad you are all here. So, I want to talk about something that comes up a lot. It's about dimensions and it's about perceptions, because dimensions are ultimately perceptions. So, have you ever considered the question or asked yourself the question, what if the way that I perceive this is incorrect? Or what if the way that I am seeing something or viewing something or experiencing something is only from like this dimension? Let's say it's third dimension. Let's say the perception is from wounding. We have an experience. Am I perceiving this the way it really is? Or am I perceiving this based on a limitation or a wound? And here's why this is important. When we're moving through expansion, when we're exploring, when we're expanding, when we are creating and destroying, we are building up and then taking something down. Perhaps we're rewriting roots. Perhaps we're doing all these things. It's kind of like the idea of we have an experience, and what if I looked at it all wrong? What if my entire perception of it, and it's not wrong, it's a perception, but what if my entire perception of it is so limited and there's actually a whole world of perceptions and understandings about that one thing? What if I viewed it wrong? What if I viewed it from a limited perspective? What if I viewed it from a wounding? What if I viewed it with the lens of my past? I feel like it's only when we ask that question that really comes out to allows us to see the other perceptions. If I am stuck on this perception right here, if I'm stuck on it has to be this way, or it was this way, and there's no other way, or I'm experiencing this and it has to mean this because that's what my perception or my story is or tells me. I feel like it's only when we say, what if, that we get to open up to any other adjacent possibilities, any possibilities in general, any other perceptions, anything like that. The reason I say this is it can go both ways, both in positive and negative, right? So if I'm viewing something from only the positive aspect, what if there's other aspects that I need to take into consideration that actually help it become more positive? But I'm unwilling to look at those other things because I'm so focused on just this positive thing. I miss the whole spectrum of it, or all the perceptions and more ideations or answers that would actually help me, and vice versa. What if I'm looking at only the negative? Well, this person did this, and this must feel like this, and this has to mean this because that's from my wounding perception. But what if it wasn't? What if it wasn't the thing that I'm perceiving? What if it has nothing to do with my past? I'm just perceiving it as part of my past. The what if question actually opens us up to all these other tremendous possibilities. And I feel like that's part of expansion. It's the ability to say, I've been thinking this way my whole life. I've been viewing this based on this wound as a child. I've been perceiving this based on what I was taught, not because it's the inherent truth of what it is. I feel like these are valuable questions right now for somebody. I feel like somebody's in a lot of hesitation, a lot of back and forth. I feel like somebody's deep in the struggle. And guess what, friends? A lot of us are deep in this. There's nobody that doesn't experience this on expansion, myself included. So it's always asking the question, did I really perceive that in its full perception of what it could be? Both the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, the spectrum, the fullness of it? Or did I only perceive it and label it based on one perception, one view, one ideation, one wound, one story? Why are we talking about this, Spirit? It's important. It's important to understand that through expansion, we go through many, many ego deaths. Ego is not a bad thing. Ego is, there's a teacher who says this all the time. I love the way that she breaks down the acronym. And she's not the first to do this, but it's ego can either be easing God's order or edging God out. It's one or the other, right? It is not intended to be something that we don't have, because egos can save your life at times. It helps you to defend what is yours. It helps you stand your truth and what you know is your truth for you, not coming from a place of egoic, like, oh, it has to be my way or the highway, but rather of, I understand that's your truth. I stand steadfast and firm in my own truth. It's the ability to listen to other perceptions, listen to other people's experiences or teachings or ways of being, and be willing to respect that for what it is. And so to also stand firm in your own. That's a place of divine empowerment, is what I'm hearing, or divine power, or a strongness and a sureness of self, the need to negate to others' experiences in order to prove your own true or right is an imbalance. It's an egoic imbalance that is an attachment to a way of being or a singular perception and an illusion of safety, is what I'm hearing. And I feel like as we go through the earth plane right now in the collective consciousness, people tend to feel unsafe or being afraid to make mistakes or going through experiences where we're tearing down what we thought was, we're tearing down an illusion that was there, we're tearing down different belief systems. And it's unnerving and it can feel scattering and it can feel like sometimes we're stuck in the mud. It can feel like sometimes we're doing the same thing over and over again. Sometimes it can feel really scary. Sometimes it can feel really exciting. All of the above. I feel like you could take out any label you wanted it to, in all honesty. But I really feel drawn to talk about this. There is this energy of, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to do the wrong thing, or it has to be this way. And if I look at it this other way, that means everything about who I am and how I'm operating is wrong. And sometimes we think that because we viewed it in a way that was wrong or only a certain perception, that means that we're less than, or that it's bad to be wrong, or it's not good to make mistakes, or it means that we failed, or it means we don't know enough. You don't know what you don't know. We all make mistakes. We all have to fail. That's an intrinsic part of the process. It's like looking at, steps 1 to 10. We think we did it right if we hit step 10. We look at the masterpiece of life. Think of the beautiful Monet paintings. I'm getting the Monet with the lotus flowers, or the lotus pond is what it looks like. It's a specific type of artistry, I want to say, a specific type of artwork or a specific way of painting. When you look at, let's say, a pointillism, a painting, we all think that when the painting is finished and beautiful and done, that means the process is a success and it's complete. And we fail to recognize that the second layer, where it was only pinks or only yellows or only grays, it was done then too. Every brush stroke you make is a completion, because it's completed that step. It's completed that thought. It's completed that way. And sometimes we're going up the stairs and we're building it up. And then we're putting other pink pieces in because we're like, we don't really like that pink piece. But every single step along the process, along ascension, every brush stroke, every color, we all think we have to get here to be done. But that's not the truth at all. We have to go through making a mess of the palette sometimes. Sometimes we put the wrong color in, only to discover on the 7th brush step that we needed the 3rd brush step because it made the 7th brush step impeccable. So that which we viewed as a problem or a mistake or a failure or wasn't right or correct was actually perfect to set the stage to build upon to create this over here. And sometimes when we do that, we had to let go of the thought that the 3rd step or the 3rd brush stroke was a failure or a mistake or a problem. Why would we view it that way? Why would we go down that route? Because think about it, I feel like a lot of people get stuck on, oh my gosh, that 3rd brushstroke was terrible. I can't do this. I can't complete it. It's not going to be as good as that person's. It's these whole stories and dynamics we have are, oh, that's the story of my life. I create something and then it just doesn't work. There's all these stories. There's all these doubts. There's all these worries. There's all these fears. There's all these things of like, what if I get it wrong? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't succeed? What if I fail? What if, right? The anxiety aspect of it. Anxiety is a rumination of thought forms that are of a negative compound interest versus the, well, that brushstroke didn't work out the way I thought it would, but guess what? I'm going to try and make the most out of it, or I'm going to rebuild on it, or I'm going to learn from that misstep or that mistake. and I'm going to look at it with fresh eyes. I feel like the entire collective consciousness is either being forced, I'm hearing me tell you, is being forced to look at things with fresh eyes, whether it's through the dynamic of extreme negativity or extreme positivity, moving back and objectifying it, seeing any root foundations that are not in alignment, being able to identify perceptions that we've had from a place of wounding and being like, oh my gosh, I had that all wrong. I saw that all wrong. I perceived that all wrong. Some of us are going through that, and that's not a bad thing. That actually means we're growing. Anytime I'm like, oh, I had that wrong, or I didn't even think about it that way, or maybe I could have, done it in a different way, or I didn't see it from a different perception. That's actually an indicator of growth. That's actually an indicator of expansion, because you're moving from this dynamic to this dynamic. It's allowing for other things to be true. It's allowing for some things to be no longer true. And if we hold on to the fact that we can't have something not be true because it's a semblance of safety, that's actually an illusion, because your safety is actually moving about in the world, coming into an unlimited perception rather than the limited, dense perception. And I feel like a lot of people are really blowing wide open some of the deepest, darkest root foundations that we have: doubt, fear, insecurity, attachments, codependency. I feel like all these things are being highlighted so intensely for so many people. And I think that that's wonderful. And I think it's wonderful because it's actually taking them to a place of, oh, that's what that was, and I'm not going there anymore. Because if you don't know what it is, you'll just keep going there because you have this limited perception of what it was or what you think it is, when really it's taught, it's indoctrinated. Think about the idea of knowing, our knowing, right? When I do something, if I don't know that when I choose to do that, that's inherently like making a choice, decisive action, and I waver on it, like, well, what if it's not the right thing, or what if it's the wrong decision, or and we waffle. I'm getting the word waffle. Somebody's waffling on a decision. Make the decision is what I'm hearing. Make the decision based on strategy, based on balance, based on multiple perceptions. Don't be afraid to see both this attribute and that attribute. We are both perfect and imperfect at the same time. And the beauty of those concepts is it allows us to own our light and our shadow. It allows us to make an actual sound decision based on all the information, not just half the information. So if I only come from a place of wounding, I can only see half the information because it's been distorted by the wounding. Whereas if I only make a decision from a positivity, everything's going to work out and I don't have to worry about anything else, I'm just going to go by the seat of my pants. Well, that has a place in the manifestation. You also have to be able to look at the other aspects of it, right? That's how you make a sound decision. We are decisive in our actions when we feel we have all the correct information to make the decision, and we trust in our capability of ascertaining and making a decision. For a lot of people, I feel like we've been taught not to trust our own judgment, not to look at all the spectrum. We've been taught, no, you do it this way. You look outside here. Don't trust yourself. You need to trust us. It's like we've taken the world. It feels like this. It feels like the world is supposed to be an external, like if we think about as within, so without, the mirror effect. So if I'm here operating and I look at the external world and I say, wow, that's a reflection of me. Like, have you seen what's going on the airplane? Have you seen some of the shit that people are in, the wounding, the darkness, the deflections, all the bullshit illusions, and truth mixed with illusion, and all this stuff that happens? If I look at the external world as it is right here and right now, as a reflection of my inner world, that's not always the case. Like, there's this feeling of, how do I want to say, how are we saying this, Spirit? The external world is meant to be a compass that is a mirror of the internal world. So if my inner landscape, I need to use the external world. Like, yes, we need validations outside of us. Yes, we need confirmations. Yes, we need guidance. Yes, we need coaches. Yes, we need people teaching the different things. Yes, we need the master showing us all the stuff that's been, all the mastery and all the wisdom. We need those things. We need them because the external world is meant to be a confirmation and validation of the internal world. That does not mean that everything that is in the world is a reflection of your inner landscape. As children, we have been placed into the world as these beautiful whole beings. We've been placed into a broken world. You are all born pure. You're all born innocent. You come in with different things that you're learning. You come in with different soul plans. Oftentimes, those of us who are beautiful, whole, brilliant, baby, blank canvases, we come into a world that's broken that says, hold on, you need to be this, this, and this, and this. And it's like separating all the light and fractaling it out into different areas. So we don't see our whole light. It gets fractalized, soul fragmentations, you could say, as some people would describe it. Really what we're doing is we're figuring out that, hold on, the external world's supposed to be a reflection of me. But what happened along the process on the journey is the external world said, we're this. And I took that in as my inner reflection of myself. This is the unentangling that we're happening. This is the doubt that we're identifying. This is the fear that we're going to be seeing clearly, is what I want to say, is all the things in the external world that was meant to be a confirmation as a compass as to where to go, that you're on the right path, that we actually took inside of us as children, as our inner landscape. But it's not meant to be that. It's the external world's meant to be a confirmation of the inner world in a mirroring effect. But that's not always the case. People say that it is, and I disagree with this for a couple of different reasons. Sometimes the information and the guidance that comes through for individuals through spirit is that person is not a reflection of you, of who you are. They're showing you this that you need to build in you. So there's that reflection. There's also the reflection of, yeah, I'm not dealing with that, and that's not mine and not in alignment with me, because you're thinking about frequency and resonance as well too. There's this very strong feeling of, if the entire external world is meant to be a reflection of our internal world, and that external world says, do not trust your internal world, that's not the way it's done, you need to be this way. This world operates in this fragmented space of disempowerment. So we're going to take that external world and place it in you. That's really what happens as a child, right? You can only be dimmed down, crushed down, pushed down so many times before you become so ingrained in it that it becomes you. You take on that energy. So those of you who are beautiful light bearers, planted as seeds in the dark, it's like you come into the world, you're placed in these darker groups or darker seeds of different wounds, different limitations, different oppression and suppression. There's all these different dynamics, but you come into this as this beautiful light and this energy. And instead of, taking the inner light and having it reflect out, there's so many of it around you that they ended up being like, no, your inner world is this, and this is the way you should be. This is somebody's story and dynamic. I feel it in the throat chakra really intensely, whoever this is. This is somebody who is angry. It's my way or the highway. This is somebody who casts judgment. This is somebody who I feel like their throat chakra is being strangled. I feel like it's directly related to the root chakra. If the root is a foundation for all the other chakra energy centers, that has the ability to be negatively impacted. Like, I'm struggling to breathe right now. I feel like personal power, somebody's got a belt on their personal power. Somebody's got an interference of the energy. It just feels very, very dense. Whatever you're dealing with, your power lies on purifying your own inner house of self. Wow. And I'm also getting an M name with that. M is the name. So I don't know if that's masculine or feminine. Take it as it resonates. Sometimes it's interchangeable. It's an M name that's associated with that. And it feels very constricted. It feels like somebody who's constricted their own energy in order to, to feel safe, like extreme control. When we have deep fear root foundations, people go into that mode of needing to control externally what's outside of us because they have no control internally. They fail to recognize that controlling outside of them only amplifies their stress rather than the internal world. If you're going within, that's the only thing you can technically have control over. And you only have control over your internal world when you remove all the control factors or interferences of others outside of you. I feel like that's either what this person is doing, like that's the dynamic with you, or that's what you're sensing, or that's what you're doing. I'm not really sure. I feel like there's a multitude of dynamics here, and I'm being told somebody could place it with their mother, their spouse, you could place it in any dynamic that you want to. Put it in the dynamic that it fits with you. And if it doesn't fit with you and that's not your dynamic and it's not your message, and leave it there for somebody else. Don't make a message fit if it doesn't. I'm just being told very, very clearly, this is your divine expression. Think about the current earth plane. Think about the repression of the freedom of speech, or suppression of the freedom of speech. What's depression? Depression is a direct result of the suppression of the soul's expression due to the oppression, which eventually causes to repress our own soul's divine expression. That's a mouthful. I feel like that's on one of my shorts that probably said it a little bit clearer, but that's okay. It just feels like there's graveliness in here. There's just like, ugh. Here's the image that I'm getting. I'm getting somebody at the bottom of the ocean in the deepest, darkest depths. And I'm seeing all the sand get kicked up, and all the sand is going around here like this. It's that feeling of that gravelly, of needing to clear the throat, of feeling like there's also the feeling of somebody trying to stop someone from saying something. That feel is coming in as well. Let me tell you, says one of my guides, somebody trying to stop somebody from saying something, whether it's a truth, whether it's something that they don't want coming out. That's what I'm hearing. Somebody shock, surprise. Somebody doesn't want shocking information to come out. Somebody doesn't want something to speak out about something, because then the whole fucking illusion comes down. That's how it's coming out. It's a very, this is somebody who swears a lot. This is somebody who is very regimented, very strict. That it's what it feels like. It's somebody that doesn't want something coming out, doesn't want something to be heard or seen or acknowledged, because when that happens, the whole freaking tower crumbles. That's what I'm hearing. And that is based in both illusions. It's also based in mirror magic. I'm hearing somebody's doing mirror magic. That's a message for somebody on here. Doing mirror magic, not for mirroring magic as in I am abundant, I am this, in a way that enhances the self. It's like they're using mirror magic in a way to take away from other people, not realizing, wow, the very idea that you need to take away from somebody else is all lack. When one person has, it actually helps everybody else have. Like when I have, you have. When you win, I win. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Just because one person has something doesn't mean somebody else cannot have it. It's interesting. I just had a conversation with somebody in a session, and they said, Erin, I look at, here's you and you're channeling. You're an amazing channel. It's incredible to watch. And I can't help but think, why can't I channel? And Spirit said, whoa. Let's tweak this. Erin's sitting here as a channel and channeling this information so that you understand you can do it too. It's not to reflect for you that you can't. It's the opposite. It's tweaking it. Every time you see somebody doing something that you want to do, you think you can do, it's actually a very clear indicator that you can do it too. And that's why these people are set up here doing it. Why do you think you have all these beautiful teachers on the earth plane right now that are rising up with all their knowledge and all their wisdom and sharing all this incredible, expansive, energetic, thought form, consciousness stuff? They're showing us that we can do it too. They're not showing us that we can't. That's an idea based in that you think you can't, and if somebody else can, that means I can't, or it's better than. But that's not the purpose at all. Spirit says anytime you see somebody doing something that's amazing, the whole purpose and the tweak in the perception of it is, I can do that too. If they can do it, I can potentially learn to do it. If I think I want to do this or I'm called to this, it's because I can do it. Now it's time to get all the structured discipline in place to show you that you can do it. That's why we have teachers that show you the pathway, not because they're here to say, oh, hey, I can do this and this is my special skill. And while they can do that and that is their special skill, they also have that and are doing that and are teaching that so that you can do that special skill too, because you innately can when you have the right tools, when you understand the process, when you have discipline, and when you fully commit, is what I'm hearing. When you fully commit to, it's not that you can't, it's that you can. You're just about to move through the process of being able to do that. I'm kidding, these poor little plants here. Anyways, this was very strong message. Somebody's really in their throat chakra of lack, controlling, not wanting a truth to come out, trying to convolute information. That's coming through. Somebody trying to convolute information because they are clinging. It's what it feels like, clinging to, I'm hearing masquerade, pretty faces on parade, masquerade, clinging to this masquerade of either a perception of wounding or it's a certain way, but it's what whoever this person is, it's based on such deep wounding, subconscious patterning. It's not even based in truth. It's based in hurt. And sometimes the hurt is, I feel like that's a question that we're all asking. Is that really the way it is? Or what if I was wrong? What if there's way more to this that I didn't ask? What if I didn't ask enough questions? What if I made a judgment and labeled something that didn't deserve that label? Or the judgment, judge not lest you be judge, yeah, I'm tripping on my words. So this is clearly somebody who's like, oh, trying to cover their tracks is what I'm hearing. That's so interesting. So you may find that somebody right now is being exposed who is trying to cover their tracks, trying to pretend that they weren't there. And I feel like it's because they know that they had a misperception or created a judgment that was invalid, unfair, something that was unwarranted. So this could be a dynamic with somebody, with your spouse or an ex-spouse, because it really feels like shooting arrows to somebody's throat chakra. There's so many words coming in right now. Whomever is dealing with this, I feel like Spirit has been describing their perception or they're struggling or that ego concept that what they're dealing with. So if you're dealing with somebody where you're like, oh, that's not my energy, that's a person that I'm dealing with, their energy, this is just a confirmation and validation. I feel it all clearing up right now. Just based on saying that and knowing that, understanding where they're coming from does not remove accountability. Forgiving somebody does not mean that we allow it and continue to happen again. It's really about identifying where it's coming from so that you do not carry the burdens and the poison in their poisoned arrows and swords that they have been attempting. Exposed is what I'm hearing. Exposed. So all of that manipulation, all of that illusion, all of that blame shifting, all of that ego, like whoever you were dealing with is so clung onto this dominant, imbalanced ego energy that it's just, it can do nothing but come crumbling down. Is what I feel like. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now. It's like a crumbling of it is what it feels like. And I feel like that's all coming to exposed. It's all being exposed. So if you have been dealing with somebody with that, or that's been an experience that you've had, this is being rewrited and rebalanced in the energetic forms as it always would. Somebody sent me a message in the middle of the night. I want to say a week ago, somebody that I love dearly. I woke up in the morning to this random text message. And the text message said this: words you need to hear, ... Everything will be okay because it is okay and always will be. And I didn't know I needed to hear that until I heard it. And all of a sudden I realized, I was like, I needed to hear that. Those are words I needed to hear. Everything is going to be okay because it is and always will be. So just know that whatever's going down is what I'm hearing. Whatever is going down is being divinely realigned. And any type of a fear, doubt, self-sabotage or sabotaging of others, or whatever this dynamic is, it will naturally be cleared up, because you can only hide illusion. You can only hide truth with illusion for so long, because truth is truth. It will always come out. It will always be seen for what it is. Illusions can only last so long. Lies can only last so long. I'm seeing a glass castle. I'm hearing building castles in the sky, my love, my love. That's what I'm hearing. So take that as it resonates. That might be a serious confirmation for somebody on here. I feel like a confirmation of building castle. Who sings that? I'm not sure, but it just feels like a confirmation for somebody building castles in the sky. So, Spirit, what else do you want to share with this message or guidance? Everything's gonna be all right. That's a song playing. Everything is gonna be all right. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. Everything is going to be all right. We are all expanding. It's okay if we got things wrong. It's okay if we've been in the dark and the light. It's okay that we're perfect and imperfect. It's okay if we're on the third brushstroke or the 10th brushstroke or the 22nd brushstroke. It's okay. It's okay for things to be different. It's okay for us to say, I got it wrong. It's okay for us to look in a different perception. It's okay for us to be messy. It's okay for us to be golden. It's okay for us to be wise. It's okay for us to be the fool, because these are all different archetypes and steps on the journey. You have to be all these different things. You don't get to be the top of the top without going through the different process. And in addition, those who are at the top of the top actually truly focus and understand that there's a whole process and each step of it is important. So I just feel like, sometimes we get stuff wrong. And that's okay. Perhaps we didn't get it wrong in the way that it's a shameful piece. We don't need to be ashamed of getting something wrong. I think the error and the issue comes in when we realize that we've gotten something wrong, or there's a new perception of clinging egoically and scaredly to this idea of, no, I have to be right. So I'm going to hang on to that old perception or that illusion or that wounding. I think that's where we really get into a lot of muck and mire, is what I'm hearing. That's where we feel stuck in the mud, where instead of evolving into that more expanded version of new things, we get stuck on, no, I had to be right, or I had to know, or it has to be this way because that's the way it's always been. When we cling to that, the struggle gets infinitely harder. It gets infinitely denser and infinitely darker. And that's why we're always, Eva says, that's why we are always asking every individual to flow with the surrender of the divine. This does not mean you allow the divine to create your life for you. That means you are an active co-creative partner in expanding into new and different views, not being afraid to move into the unknown, but rather be fearless and brave and move into it and ask the question, did I see this in its entirety? Or did I only see it from one perception and one view? For you are all co creators. This does not mean the divine creates your life for you. This also does not mean that you create your life solely by yourself. It is a beautiful partnership when you are able to receive the divine and take a step towards it with unanimous nervous excitement, with joy. Into the unknown is what I'm hearing. The longer you cling to how you think it should be rather than what is, actually disempowers you and creates a negative impact. And that's when we begin to feel stuck or stagnant. That's when towers begin to, I'm seeing literally a wrecking ball being taken to somebody's castle. There is an empire that is falling, and it is literally wrecking balls are going to be hitting this empire. And I'm using the word empire specifically. I don't know if this is a group, an individual that's built it. Perhaps it's on a personal note. You feel like your personal life is falling apart or has already fallen apart. Here's the beauty of destruction. It leaves you with all the broken pieces that you can sift through it and see what's required to rebuild anew in a stronger way, with more solid foundations, with deeper and greater understandings and knowings. I don't know who needs to hear this message today, but whatever is being destroyed, and I don't mean that as like, oh, yay, let's destroy this. Whatever is being destroyed, let what is being destroyed only that which negates from your highest good, and let all that serves you flourish and thrive and expand you into becoming all of you and the whole of you. For you have always been whole innately in yourself. It is simply being all the broken fragments of others' souls and experiences that you have taken on within your whole self, which made you feel fragmented or believe you are fragmented or think you are not powerful. But the truth could not be more opposite. So thank you to those who have walked this earth plane in such broken states. For you are the reason that so many of us will discover our wholeness and will not leave this earth plane without remembering who we are innately and divinely. And that is how we are using darkness for good. I trust somebody needed to hear this message. I'm going to have to go back and listen to it. And that's the beauty of the collective consciousness. That's the beauty of all of us doing it together. And I feel like it all has value. These things have value. Everyone's path has value. Everyone's journey has value. Everything that we do has value, even if it seems dark and even if it seems light. Because remember, we need both. It's honoring both, right? The third brushstroke and the 10th brushstroke. We need both of them to be perfect and imperfect. It's like freedom. I got permission to be perfect. Yes, I can be perfect in this moment. And in this moment over here, I can be messy and imperfect too. I get to be both and. I get to move through all the different dimensions of those and perceptions and feelings and experiences. Because we're divine beings having a human experience. Human experience, which often embodies all aspects of the spectrum, which is really cool when you look at it that way. And it makes it a lot easier to play the game, doesn't it? When we look at it from those perceptions, it's very hard to play the game when we feel like the whole game is against us and we can only see that wounding perception. It's really hard to play the game when that's our feeling. And perhaps it's only we begin to play the game when we detach or begin to really heal those internal wounds and the darker things and the limited perceptions, that we actually begin to have joy playing the game. And a lot of people right now are stepping into actually playing the game versus the game playing them. That's really important for somebody on here to know about the collective consciousness at this time. Many people are stepping into the game to consciously create. So I'll leave that with you. As always, I'm wishing you much love, light, peace, healing, and transcendence. And I will see you on the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Pop into the comment if you want to connect with me on a one-on-one session or one of our spiritual expansion or any of the courses. Please feel free to connect with me on my website. The link for that is in the video description box below. And I will see you all in the next video.